Hello.
Hello. Season 2.
Episode 5.
We know this for a fact.
It's been verified.
We did our research.
It's been validated. This is
We had
2-5. I thought a lot was going to change in my life when I turned 25. I thought this was like a turning point.
I was like, what are we going to do with the numbers? Okay, 25? Yeah, that's a big deal, I guess.
But you know, it's halfway into your 20s. I mean, I think turning 30 is a big deal for a lot of people.
30 that's a rough.
There's a psychological thing going on.
There's
It's
something
like,
about it.
Like there comes a time when you watch sports and you're older than everybody when you realize, damn, at one point
That's funny.
I was a kid.
I thought of that.
Yeah.
So, not the only one.
I'm now older than damn near everybody who plays professional sports.
Pretty much.
Or like, I think NASCAR might be the only sport where they still got people as old as me. And even then, 34 and over maybe is rare, but not really.
That's kind of a marginal thing, no?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
NASCAR, but I'm definitely not in my physical prime.
Well, I don't know if that's an age thing. I think we could be in our physical prime, maybe.
I could be.
For our lives, maybe not if we had been as rock solid at 25.
That's true.
I haven't really paid much attention to
I think 50 is going to be my golden year.
Isn't that the golden year? 50? I think you took that.
Oh, okay.
50 is your golden year?
40s.
Well, no, it's 50. If you were married for 50 years, that's your golden anniversary. So 50 is golden. I thought
you better save up.
Bro.
50. They're expecting some gold.
50. Yeah, that shit's it's a big deal.
I think it might be the fourth, or there's another one that's like gold involved, or rose gold involved. But sometimes that's all I got this watch.
Sometimes even if all the numbers are there, sometimes there's still like a paradox. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there's still doesn't add up.
But they want a pair of earrings, unfortunately.
They don't want a paradox?
They don't want a pair of Docs.
They want a pair of earrings?
Doc Martens?
Whatever.
There should be like
Are there other Docs? Dockers?
Dockers?
Is that still around, those pants?
Docking. Yeah. So, well, how about this? There's probably billions and billions of Docs.
I tried it a second ago with the paradox thing, but there's probably a billion Docs.
At least. And
around there.
If there's that many, what's the possibility that some of them are receiving product?
It depends on the doc, or I guess it just depends. Or maybe that's the thing is, what if there was a billion docs and there was no product?
Then why would there be so many docs?
See, that's the well, that's why it's paradox.
We're talking about docs that are like
documentaries, like some docs.
There's a lot of kinds of. There's a billion kind of docs.
There's a bunch of docs.
Well, so what are we talking about today?
The reason we're mentioning...
I'm already confused.
All right, well, once we get into it, it'll all make sense. We were talking about the Fermi Paradox.
It's going to make a lot of sense.
The Fermi Paradox. So here's the bit. I'm going to try my best to explain it, and then I'll explain it.
Cool.
The whole thing is that if you look at the numbers, it should make sense that more is out there. Are you still confused?
Life is what you're speaking of.
I'm saying it to see if you can catch it. So here's the deal. It is based on Enrico Fermi. He came up with the Fermi Paradox. He's actually the architect of the nuclear age. He came up with the very first nuclear reactor. He's a smart dude. And he had an idea because they were talking...
Was he like homies with Einstein and shit?
You know, probably.
Was he part of the atomic bomb?
World's first nuclear reactor. That's what I saw when I looked them up.
Okay.
So here's the deal.
Shout out to the Wikipedia.
I looked up... well, I didn't see it on there. I had stumbled across something called the Fermi Paradox. Yeah, I was checking them out on MySpace. Cool. And, that was in the bio.
Okay.
So here's the deal. I thought it was a very interesting thing. And so I didn't really look up the dude too much, but his idea was pretty interesting. So I'll just jump right into it. The observable universe is 90 billion light years in diameter. Now, if you could just take 2 seconds to just realize... Because when you say something that big...
It might take longer than 2 seconds.
It's hard to realize how much that... that's so...
Our brains
so big that
aren't even meant to understand that because it's not relevant to our survival to understand what 90 billion light years is like.
Yeah, like if I said 90 billion miles, you'd be like, fuck.
I think nothing. Our eyes see like 20 miles out.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was like 30. We're marginally off by 10 miles.
I want to say it's like 20. Something like that.
25 to be fair? Can we meet in the middle of 25?
Call it 25, and I think that's just so you can see clear and present danger. I don't think there's any danger coming at us from 90 billion light years away that we know about yet. There could be. But we won't see it till it's about
we wouldn't know.
20 miles away. You know?
Here it goes.
Like a fucking deer in headlights. It's just us waiting for it. Okay, so
here's the deal. If I could put this maybe in perspective, the speed of light is 186,282 miles a second.
It's all making sense now.
2,099 or 299,792 kilometers for the rest of the world out there, since we're the only ones doing that shit. And to put it in more perspective, the Voyager, which left 42 years ago, that thing is going 11 miles a second. 11 miles a second.
I wonder if this day and age, when the Voyager was built 42 years ago, if like 20 years in, they're like, fuck, dude. We could make something now that could probably catch up and surpass it.
I bet you they could.
Right?
Probably.
Because it's like, is it... Regardless. Okay, so the Voyager has been going for 42 years. 11 miles a second. And where is it at right now?
So here's the deal. It's been going for 42 years. It just got outside of our little local area. But it'll take 73,000 years to arrive at the closest star, which is Alpha Centauri. And the reason I brought that up is light years, it would only take 4 years. So it just goes to show, I don't know if that helps with any of the dimensions here, but the closest star is 4 years going light years. That's a long way. But here's the deal. Here's what the Fermi Paradox really is now that we've gotten a little perspective. There are 100 billion galaxies at least.
I heard there's like 50 billion planets.
Well, here's what'll make that come together. So let's say this is a galaxy and this is a galaxy. Each one of these has 100 billion or up to 1,000 billion stars per galaxy. And there's 100 billion galaxies. It's already too much to really fathom. There's just too fucking much. So our own galaxy has 400 billion stars. So just think about that. Just
more than grains of sand at the beach.
Well, yeah, what it is for every grain of sand on the planet, there are 10,000 suns. That's a fucking lot. I mean, just imagine how many is in a pile on.
Going deep, bro.
It's deep, bro.
Damn, dude. Okay. There's a lot of stars in relevance to the sand on the beach.
So 20 billion sun-type stars are out there. 20 billion out of all that. That's really not much, but that's actually a lot.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
There's a lot, dude. But 20 billion. And science estimates that 1/5 have an Earth-sized planet that's in the Goldilocks zone, that's habitable, that's in that right little area, so water stays, it doesn't freeze, or it doesn't evaporate. So that's a lot. And of that 5%, 0.1% should harbor life based on just the numbers. Scientifically, that's what they estimate. And that would be 1 million planets with life in just our galaxy. Or if you wanted to do 1%, that's 10 million planets with life in just our galaxy. We all caught up? That's part of it.
Dude, I think we can all write everything you just said down. Verbatim.
Good.
I get it.
I like it. So here's the deal. For those of you who didn't hear something.
And I think even to put it in more easier perspective, let's just say that there's some non-mathematicians out there. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we're attracting the highest caliber of intelligence through this podcast. I know that there's nobody that's below a genius IQ watching this. But let's just say they have a friend with them that ain't that smart. If there was 1,000, they're just saying there got to be one with some life on it. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be crazy to think. Out of 1,000 planets, one of them could have life. It's like the same kind of percentage that we're talking about, just without the billions and gajillions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, it's actually crazier that out of all those millions and billions and gajillions, 0.1 of 1/5 should harbor over 10 million planets. That's fucking crazy.
So if there was 50,000, one should have life at least.
Maybe.
I don't know if I just did the math right.
I think
that might be 1% of 1% of a
I'm checking my notes to see.
Because 5 times 100 times 100.
So here's where it gets crazy. So keep that in mind. This is all just facts. Some of our episodes
we can put those over there for now.
We're putting them here for just a minute.
He's already looked it up, guys. Okay?
I've looked this up. So here's the deal. Colonizing space. Keep in mind all this. So let's imagine all this and all these planets are doing all that with life. Colonizing space. Considering that we're late in the game, we are only, we've been around 200,000 years out of our planet, which has been around for 4.5 billion. So 200,000, and we haven't really been up except for the last 100 years, right?
If this whole wall behind us was a representation of time, we'd be like a hair.
You would not be able to see it. I would
not
say that.
be there.
It just, it's too small.
We're a freckle on an elephant. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was thinking.
Freckle on an elephant.
Perfect. I was thinking that. So here's what they're thinking. If you're colonizing space, you're building generation spaceships, meaning it would allow life, and you could have it last. I hope you guys can't hear that.
They're doing a little bit. This is actually the last time we're going to be at this facility. And
unrelated to the noise.
They're doing some work, so just in case we can't in post, if you hear some noise, there's just hundreds of billions and billions and billions of people in this world. They need jobs.
One of the guys, 1.5% of them are doing it quietly.
One of the guys is up there fucking banging on the ceiling. Regardless, all right, cool. So,
okay, cool.
Back to colonization.
Colonization. So if you build ships, which is something we would do, if we had a problem with, I really hope it's not picking that noise up. If we had a problem with space, like this planet, and we needed to colonize, which is something they've made movies about, we would hope that we could do, at least 1,000 years of travel. And in doing so, it would take 2 million years to colonize the entire galaxy. That's not a lot. 2 million years is not a lot, considering 2 million years ago, the dinosaurs were already dead, right? Because they were for 400 million years ago?
So are you saying, okay, just there may have been a point within what you said that I got lost?
Okay. So if there's all these people, at least one of them probably had to build a ship to split, to colonize, which is something we would have to do if there was a doomsday thing and we had a ship that we could jump on. We on the same ship so far?
So, just to throw out there, because I've always felt, like human beings all share this desire to get the fuck off the planet. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So obviously right now, Elon Musk, I would say, is the most pop culture figure that most people would be aware of that's building these spaceships and shit that are trying to go to Mars. So did someone colonize Earth? Are we within the 2 million years right now? Are the 2 million years happening? Earth was a couple 100,000 years ago or whatever. I don't fucking know, right?
Totally.
But because if there's dinosaurs on other planets, I highly doubt they're ever gonna care about us. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It would have to be of equal intelligence, if not greater than ours, to even care. They'd have to be self-aware before they fucking cared if there was life on other planets, right?
Sure.
So I don't know if dinosaurs are self-aware.
All this is about intellectual life.
Right, so...
super intelligent.
So if we were colonized already, and then it was like, that's why the UFOs come every now and then. They're like, let's just check on these people. Because from what my understanding is, Edward Fermi, he created the nuclear something or another.
Yeah, reactor.
So in 1952, when they set off, and that could be a wrong date, so I'm going to hit you with the look it ups. So look it up. But when they set off the first atomic bomb, the big mushroom cloud, that was kind of like, hey, yo, colonizers, we're doing some shit.
Yeah.
We're capable. We can blow ourselves up now.
Totally.
The second you can blow yourself up, that's pretty legit.
I know that's pretty legit.
You know what I'm saying? That's fucking crazy. We split a motherfucking atom, and we're capable of blowing ourselves up. Possibly the closest star, who fucking knows. So at that point, now they start visiting. They're like, hey, man, cool. You guys are blowing shit up. You guys get it. Now they see us throwing things into the space. They're like, okay, what is it called? The Navigator? The one that's 72 years out?
Oh, that's the Voyager.
They're like, until you guys send some newer shit than that, we ain't fucking with you very much.
It's playing Robert Johnson and shit.
Right. Okay, man. Get something going faster than 11 miles a second. So what you're saying is we could be part of the mass colonization throughout the last 2 million years. It could be 1.8 million years in.
Sure.
Right? Or it could be 200,000 years in, and we could be the first one that were colonized. So in that equation, maybe I already missed it, or I've talked so much I forgot. Well, how long would it take to colonize one planet again?
Well, it's not one planet. It would take 2 million years to colonize the entire galaxy.
And how many planets are in the galaxy?
Well, there's at least 100,000 based on 0.1% of 1/5 of the 20 billion sun-type stars out of the 100 billion galaxies.
So let's just say it takes 20 years to colonize a planet with all the capabilities. So 200,000 years ago, so they could have already colonized at least 200,000 times 20.
Well, that comes in later, but we could be part of the colonization, or we could be by ourselves. There's a whole lot. There's reasons. So
and the end goal is to get off the planet, maybe.
I guess there is no goal. We're just talking math. And I actually haven't fully explained what the Fermi Paradox is. So we have all these numbers.
We're still, okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. Hey, I want them to have all the info, bro. I want all the info out there, bro.
You gotta let the player know how to use the weapons before they get to level 2.
So here's the
level
deal.
1 still.
2 million years to colonize the galaxy. 1 to 10 million planets with life, possibly in the billions. considering we're a young galaxy and other civilizations could have had potentially billions of years, our planet's only 4.5 billion, only been around 200 million. Really, our technical advancements have only been around for 100 years. So we have billions of years behind us that other, life could have come around. So that is officially, if I was like 3 sentences away, that's the Fermi Paradox. Where is everybody? All the numbers are there. The math adds up. So where is everybody? I always thought that there's just too much existence for there not to be life. Before I'd ever heard of this, I always thought it just has to be. It just has to be.
Yeah.
So that's what really turned me on.
It really hasn't changed your perception. You still think it has to be.
Yeah, I absolutely think it has to be. The idea with this is it's very intriguing because, I mean, I guess if we would have just been chopping it up, having some coffee, talking about some aliens, and even on the show we've brought up the idea of extraterrestrial life, I said, yeah, fuck it. Why wouldn't they have come? Or they've been here. I believe that, and I still do. But it is kind of interesting. Where are they? Because if you think about it, we're not really
everybody wants an ant farm, though.
We're not really seeing a whole lot. Yeah, you're not seeing you see a little bit of a blurry thing. That's not evidence to me. That's cool, and I'm down to watch. And I don't think that they're just take me to your leader, that kind of thing. How would they do that? And I don't know. So there's a lot of things to it, but I think that you should be open either way about it. As much as I think aliens are here or that we have met extraterrestrial life, it's pretty interesting to think that if you think about it, there should be the galaxy should be swimming with life, and we're really just kind of trying to pull hairs to see if any of it makes sense or if we have any real validation.
Yeah, I think one of the things is life. What is life? Do you know what I'm saying?
What?
You know what I mean?
A little bit broad.
But what is life consistent of? Like, life could be in so many different forms and all that throughout the galaxy. It doesn't have to be something with 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, and ears.
That's true.
Right? So who knows that stars aren't life? What if a star is a being?
Yeah.
They're celestial beings.
That's part of one thing.
So what if we're looking at life?
Shows that what if we don't know what it is?
But we're so concerned about identifying it similar to us, to ourselves, that we never understand it. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Like ants can carry leaves. It's fucking crazy, dude.
I mean, I think that there's a jellyfish that's immortal.
Yeah, like there's animals.
There's a few things
doing incredible things.
Pretty. Animals are pretty incredible. I mean, if we could tap into those, we'd be considered
my dog
with superpowers.
Can sit if I tell it to sit. It's a little bit different. It's pretty incredible.
It's different, bro.
I mean, sometimes he looks into my eyes and I think, are you reading my brain?
Do you know what I'm thinking?
Do you know what I'm thinking?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Can you look it up? Okay, so I guess what I was getting at is, who knows that the life that's out there, we can see it, we just don't recognize it as life because we're looking for something similar to ourselves.
That is a possibility.
Right?
Absolutely, I agree. So that's the Fermi Paradox. So now here's where it gets kind of cool is they talk about why would that be? Why would that be that technically there should be an inordinate amount of life, copious amounts of life, and
we don't know about it.
And we could barely get a blurry little picture.
They just saw a black hole for the first time. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's like a photo negative or something of the space of the black hole. That's how we were able to see it. That shit is crazy.
It's like a fireball around a black hole. You've seen that one?
Yeah. You know what's crazy? So I don't want to break.
The fact there's a fucking picture of a black hole, that's pretty crazy.
Well, the idea of what a black hole is,
kilometers away.
So this is what I'm thinking is pretty nuts. This is going to segue a little bit, but a black hole. So a star is a bunch of things smashing into each other. It's a bunch of elements,
gases.
And when they hit each other, two elements sometimes will combine, sometimes they won't. Two elements have already combined; they combine with something else. That's called fusion. And when you have it pushing enough, and there's a mass gravity like the gravity of the sun pushing in to make all these elements smash into each other even more, that's nuclear fusion. And that's why it gets heavier and heavier. And the heaviest thing you can get to is iron. So once you continue to do that and the star is just iron, there's no more fusion, the gravity collapses in on itself and it goes to a single point infinitely in. So it's like, have you ever seen like how Einstein tries to explain how the moon goes around the Earth and how the Earth goes around the sun? It's like a bowling ball on a trampoline. It just creates that divot.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine that divot to an infinite point, an endless amount of point. That's fucking crazy to consider. But there is a place where it stops just along the top. And that's what a black hole is. It's an infinite point based on nuclear fusion and gravity and shit like that. Anyway, segue's done. So here's the deal. this is part of the Fermi Paradox. There are 3 different types of civilizations. Type 1 civilization is able to access all the energy of the planet. A Type 2 civilization can access...
So we'll give some examples. So like, because I know what you're talking about. So you're saying a Type 1 would be if we all utilized solar.
All energy. Well, solar would really come into the sun.
Solar is one that we can all understand. If there's no such thing as gasoline, we're just using solar.
Just to get away from the sun for a second, because you're right. But to make it easier, if we're helping out our geniuses friends who are watching, it would be like having
co-geniuses.
A windmill, or maybe the mill by water. So the water pushes it. That would be harnessing power. That's a very primitive example, but
so we're using
harnessing the power of the planet.
And water.
Things like that, maybe even more. But, I mean, altogether, there's...
And they're free, and they're sustainable.
Free, sustainable.
It should be, at least.
It goes deeper than that, though. But anyway, so that would be Type 1. Type 2 civilizations can harness the planet, harness the energy of the sun. The best example that I've seen is the Dyson sphere. Basically, if this is the sun, get a bunch of satellites all over it, and it just keeps absorbing all the energy from your local star, and it sends it to you. That would be a Type 2 civilization. And a Type 3 civilization can harness all the power or energy of the galaxy that they're in, or the universe that they're in.
So Type 1 is the low, Type 3 is the high.
Yes. And in case you're interested, we are not even a Type 1
We're like a TF, right?
We're
an FT or something like that?
We're tweens, bro.
We're just greedy.
We're not there, bro. We're a couple hundred years from even being a Type 1. We cannot fully harness the planet.
We're just fracking, dude.
That's what we're doing.
We're just looking for fucking oil.
That's what we're doing.
So we could sell it to people. Man.
We're destroying water in people's lives so we can get a little more oil.
We're killing little baby ducks. And then there's not enough...
Jesus.
There's not enough fucking... What is the soap? Tell me the soap, bro. Palm olive?
Is it palm olive? I know it's Dove. Is it Dove?
No, Dove is for people.
Dawn.
There's not enough Dawn soap in the world to clean the baby ducks, bro.
It's true.
And we're just fracking and killing baby ducks.
We could be coming up with more Dawn to save the baby ducks.
If we were a Type 1 civilization, there'd be no ducks in need of Dawn soap.
That's like a bumper sticker, bro.
The world I want to live in, I never want one more visual of a baby duck in oil, dude.
Or that sad commercial with that in the arms of the angel. The puppies, dude.
They've ruined Sarah McLachlan for me.
It's a very sad commercial.
It's a very sad commercial.
Very sad. So
that's not some Type 1 shit. Nah, that's some TF shit.
That's pre-Type 1, bro. That's pre-Type 1. Yeah. So we're not even there yet. We're not on that list at all. So here's the reasons why we would not be seeing all this life that should be there. So here's the first one. Rare earth. Maybe it's a freak accident, it was a perfect storm of things. Like let's say if the dinosaurs weren't taken out, we wouldn't have had our chance. The axis tilt.
But what it would have to be a 1 in a I don't even know how to 1 in every letter in the alphabet illion chance, right? Because out of a billion planets, with a billion of this and a billion of that.
I see what you're saying.
Like saying 1 in a million really isn't. If you're saying you're 1 in a million, that's like saying you're 1 in 80,000. Think about it.
Is it?
Well, yeah. There's like 8 billion people. So 1 in a million isn't that special. It's like 1 in 80,000, like 1 in a ballpark. You know what I'm saying? Like in 2 ballparks, there's another person like you. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
So the chances for a person, you have to say you're 1 in 8 billion, because there's 8 billion people. So to say there's a billion, kajillion planets, it would have to be a super freak accident. Because even if it's a 1 in a billion chance that life exists, like 1 in a billion can happen 1,000 times.
I agree.
Right? So
these are just hypotheses. These are not mine.
I'm just debating.
This is part
for no fucking reason.
You should be. That's
maybe I should.
Got to play the devil's advocate, man. I always ask questions.
I'm just speaking for the geniuses.
So those are some. Maybe the moon. Maybe the other planets didn't have the moon, the tide, and all that shit. So that's 1. 2. This is my favorite one. Is the Great Filter. Something stops life, like I don't know, nuclear war. We blow ourselves up. Everybody. That's just the thing. Everybody just gets so big. And our greed is not just a human thing. Maybe that's a life thing. Everybody wants to survive, and it's a survival thing. And in the
Kim
end,
Jong Un is just like
blow
fuck
each other. Every potential planet has a Kim Jong Un.
Yeah,
so that's possible.
Or Kim Jong Un.
Asteroids, maybe eventually, just mathematically, an asteroid takes everybody out. I don't know, gamma rays, disease, overpopulation. Those are just some of the things. So that's the Great Filter. So the first in the Great Filter is maybe we made it past, because the Great Filter has 3 different parts. So maybe we made it past the Great Filter. Maybe the jump that we have done from simple cells to complex ones, or the jump from ape-like to intelligent life. Maybe that was the thing that was the great filter. No other planet was able to do it. We happened to do it. So maybe we already passed the great filter. The second one is maybe the great filter is ahead of us. Like, I don't know, like the universe is cooling down from all the turmoil that there's been. So maybe this is now the time when life will be teeming, and we just happen to be one of the first planets doing it. And the third one, where is the third one? The great filter is still ahead, and we're basically all doomed. No matter what, you're going to get a gamma ray, because those things happen. If a gamma ray exploded in somewhere in the middle of the galaxy, we would still be affected here, depending on how far it is. But things like that could affect.
Or D. We're living in a matrix, dude.
No, that's in here too.
No, okay. So we only have a couple minutes, I guess.
Oh, we can keep going. So we'll go for the last part of the great filter is that it's still ahead, and that we're doomed. A gamma ray is inevitable, and that will fry us all, or something like that. And scientists say that they hope they don't find any life, like microbial-styled life, on, let's say, like Mars or Europa, because that would mean that maybe the great filter is still ahead, and that we're still set to be affected by it. So that's that one. The next one is they do exist. Intelligent life does, in fact, exist, and there's 200,000. Basically, they visit us before we became anything. We've only been here 200,000 years. So they've already been here, and that's it. They made their pit stop,
But you got to think. I don't know. I think through my own lens, I'm a smart guy.
Sure.
I'm a human. I feel like...
Nobody wants to feel that they're stupid.
Especially our viewers, right? But I don't know if humans are the most intelligent creatures on the planet. I couldn't say for sure.
It depends on what you label intellectualism.
There's no other creatures, like, I'm taking a flight on Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not another animal or species that has been able to help his other members go airborne at 500 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to advancements, we got to be the most advanced on the planet, at least technologically. In order for us to see other life, they would have to be way more advanced than us, right? Because we've only gone to, 2 planets? Have we gone to Mars?
Well, no, we haven't. We've sent things to Mars. And we went to the moon. That's not even a planet. So technically, we've been to 0 planets.
And we don't know if anything was on the moon because...
Who's to say?
Only 5 people or so, or 10 people have actually fucked with it on a personal level. So to say that there's other life out there, it would have to be pretty intelligent to get to us. That's
pretty important.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. You
know
what I mean?
Here's the next one then. They exist... but we live in the sticks, like we're in the boonies, just like, let's say when Europeans landed in the States, people from, natives from Washington would have had no idea for a while, so that's another theory. Another theory is that they've created their own utopia, just how, we're starting to get into this whole virtual reality type thing. They've probably created their own utopia. They've discovered a way to upload their minds, just like we see in science fiction movies, but that's not too far off, another 10,000 years, assume maybe we could do that. And that's only 10,000 years. Maybe even before, I don't know.
Hopefully my 20 minutes later, grandkids will be able to see.
I saw what you did with the 20 minutes later. I was just curious how many grands. But yeah, that's a possibility. Just like we're starting to do things like that. Maybe they've uploaded their minds. They have a virtual reality of paradise, and they're not interested in us. It's a possibility. Why not?
That's a possibility.
So... they do exist, but they're super intelligent civilizations. They're type 3 civilizations, and they prey on less intelligent ones like ours. And we've not heard anything out there because other civilizations are aware of this, and they're not too stupid to broadcast their signals like we do. Like we've put out there that here we are. We put a map like a Voyager, tells people or tells other alien whatevers exactly where we are. Even Stephen Hawking was against that. He thought that was a bad idea, just like with anything. Just like same example of the Europeans with the natives.
See, I get what he's saying. I just don't know, like, what would they gain from us? Like, what can I possibly gain?
Well, you couldn't possibly have rats. You couldn't possibly have the same intellect of somebody who space traveled or had that capability.
Okay, but I have a higher intellect level than most things on this planet, let's just say. Let's just assume.
Well, this was Stephen Hawking, pal.
Well, but Stephen Hawking, man. I mean, he had his own beliefs that swayed his own opinions on what we should and should not do. But what I'm getting at is, I don't walk by a colony of rats and are like, I could prey on these motherfuckers, dude. I got something to gain from these guys. I just don't care. So, like, if you're so advanced that you're surveying planets, what are we doing that they could possibly benefit from? Because if they're a Type 3, they've already harnessed all the energy they possibly need. Let's just assume.
Sure.
They're way more intelligent than us. So it's like, what can they gain from us? We're not even, that's why I said not everybody wants an ant farm. Like, what are they looking at us for? We're just fucking, like, oh yeah, dude, what? Just so, like, we look at apes. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to see, oh, that's what it was like a billion years ago before we knew how to get the fuck off of the planet.
Well, you never know. Let's say that rat hole or rat
but they
thing
would be
was
stepping back
by a diamond mine, and we killed all the rats for the diamond.
But I'm saying, I think
we don't know.
They would be taking a step back by benefiting off anything that we have right now.
Well, how hard would it be to kill a bunch of us if you had that much?
But why would you kill a bunch? I mean, killing people though.
Well, I don't even understand why we do any of this on Earth. Why do we kill each other at all? To jack a car radio?
To control and power.
Yeah, but so you get killed to get your car radio jacked.
Yeah, but we're talking
not a lot of things make sense.
Yeah, but okay, if I'm jacking your car because you're a human that's capable of gaining a stereo, and I'm a human that needs a stereo. But I'm like, I don't think an alien needs a stereo.
Hey man, it's probably quiet.
You know what?
There, maybe they could use some new music.
Maybe we just have to create something so gangster that they want to fuck with us.
Maybe that's it. And that's in here, too, that we're not worth fucking with yet. But anyway, so that's that one.
So I'm not speaking crazy then. Okay, other people have thought this. I don't.
Well, no, I think that
enough.
No matter what gets said, it should be there should always be a devil advocate argument. I agree with that. Anyway, signals are everywhere. We're just too primitive to pick them up or respond. You know, like an example I heard is, if you could be walking through New York on a walkie-talkie, no one's going to respond because they're all on cell phones. They're on different technology. So you would assume using that technology, sending out signals, hello, nobody's responding. There's nobody here in New York, because they're using a different technology. So that's one.
You're fishing in the wrong pond with the wrong bait,
basically. Totally. We are basically irrelevant. This is what you were just brushing up on. You wouldn't.
Well, and this is not to each other.
Well, no, we are irrelevant. Whatever. And I have a very similar thing as to what you just said. You wouldn't bother explaining to a local squirrel that you're building a highway 20 feet away from its tree. You wouldn't bother.
Yeah.
So maybe they could harness the energy of our sun, but they don't even bother with us, or I don't know. It could be anything. What the fuck do we know? But that's an option that they just don't fuck with us because what's the point? We could be in some type of matrix. It's another thing we brushed up on. Computer simulation of some type, an experiment. We're basically in a zoo. We are an exhibit. That's another thing,
we're a fishbowl.
Yeah, maybe we are the product of something like, I don't see it impossible that in the future we would want to send out some sort of capsule, just like how we have that seed capsule in Antarctica or wherever it is, that could re-harvest all of the Earth if we needed. I couldn't see it being too outlandish to send that to a planet if we found one and this was in turmoil or something like that.
So we're just a big time capsule.
Well, I wouldn't have put it that way. I would have said we use that to recreate. But we're on the same page, I think. And
what if we are Noah's Ark?
Come on, man. Noah's Ark.
Are we getting weird?
It's the Epic of Gilgamesh, dude. Noah's Ark was that was a stolen story. The Epic of Gilgamesh.
I mean, it's all. I got you.
The Epic of Gilgamesh, and even that wasn't. There's 3 other ones.
Anyway, look it up.
Anybody who's interested, or if you're not, that's fine. And then the last one, reasons why we're not seeing all this life.
You're giving them too much to think about to ever worry about what Gilgamesh is, dude.
Well,
these people are fucking.
I still think
knee deep in elephant shit right now, trying to figure out how to get clean, bro. It's a lot, dude. Okay, so what's number 10?
10.
You're not even giving them numbers. You're just saying another one. You sound like DJ Khaled over here.
I don't.
Number 10, dude.
The last one.
You giving them 10 fucking reasons, man.
Well, these are the 10. They're waiting for us to reach a certain level, kind of like the Star Trek thing.
They're waiting for
and
EM.
once our intelligence level gets to a certain spot, they welcome us into their galactic community. So that's basically about it. And I wanted to end it with a quote I saw on one of the things I saw when I was doing this research. It's from Arthur C. Clarke. His quote is, 2 possibilities exist. Either we are alone in this universe or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. That is Arthur C. Clarke. I thought that was a pretty cool.
I've heard the same quote for God.
Quote.
There's two possibilities. God exists or God doesn't exist. Both are equally terrifying.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. Well, I don't think so.
I think it's terrifying. Well, I mean, it depends on everyone at this point has an idea of what God represents. A creator, possibly something that offers a path of destiny. So if God doesn't exist, first off, why are there any rules? You know what I'm saying?
Because we're in a society. There's no rules.
But I mean,
you gotta have ethics to some degree.
Well, they put it like this: the government. Well, yes, I guess you're right. As people, we don't want to just fucking kill each other and all this shit, but because we want to enjoy our own lives, we don't want the punishment of what would happen if we did something to somebody else. I guess the government is here to control you on Earth, and religion is here to control you forever. Does that make sense? So, like, I wouldn't break the law because I don't want to go to jail, and I wouldn't do something. Even if it was I can get away with, because then I'd go to hell. You know? So I think it definitely keeps people in check. So if all of a sudden tomorrow news broke, there's no God, we could prove it. I think
we could prove it.
I think it'd be a fucking crazy place. I mean, regardless of personal beliefs, I just think it is a thought to ponder that it is equally terrifying to think about.
Totally.
Right?
So that's it, man. I just I thought that was super interesting. I know that's kind of just racking off a bunch of info, but when I first heard all this stuff, I thought it was kind of cool, even though I think that, you know, maybe we've had more encounters than I guess we know about or there's documentation of. I mean, especially with old world, you know, you look at a lot of these old civilizations, how they all had similar things and the starman in the sky and all this crazy stuff. You know, I think it's very plausible. But I also do think mathematically it's interesting, considering I've always thought there's just too much out there for there to not be life. But then if you think about it, there's way more life that should be out there than what you think. And we still just kind of
let me ask.
Are young, I guess, in this universe.
Let me ask, is it all just for the pondering, or do you actually think if there is, like, what would life being out there do for you? If we found out, yeah, there's life out there, would that at all affect your life?
No, it wouldn't do anything. I just like to think.
Yeah.
I think that I like chess, like conversations we will have, like not on camera or whatever. You know, we're just chopping it up. The idea for the idea. What if this? What if that? I like that kind of stuff. I think that's good for your brain. I think that's conversational chess, if you will. And I think that this kind of stuff is either a game piece that you could play chess with your friends by having an intellectual conversation about something like this, or it just makes you think. You know, it adds colors to your palette.
So if there's 100 billion planets out there got to be fucking life on another planet. He gave you the reasons why there might not be evidence of this.
Yeah, those are not mine. Those are just, if you look online, those are like the 10 most, because there's if you look it up, there's tons of hypotheses on why, but these are the 10 most common, 10 most referenced reasons why.
He scrubbed the internet.
Bro, I did.
With the billions and billions of reasons, and he narrowed it down to 10 based off of keywords, phrases, likes on Facebook, and reshares on Instagram.
It's like an 80s montage and breaking sweat and fucking, you know, all that shit.
Dude, and you hit us with an hour of power.
Is it an hour? For fuck's sake.
I think we're damn close.
All right, well.
What is 1,140 seconds? That's pretty fucking close. 1,200 seconds.
I hope we get a comment. I hope somebody would know.
Hey, well, if you're watching this far, maybe you're from another planet. Let us know in the comments where you came from.
Or what you think. Anyway.
That's it.
This has been a fun one. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time on the Jared and Brian Show.